Hey, what's up, people? Should be live. How are we all doing? Good? Just give me a quick confirmation in the chat that you can see my screen and that you can hear my audio all loud and clear, please. All right, awesome. What a day. What a start to the week. A big bunch of liquidations. We'll discuss that shortly on stream today. But as always, a special thank you to OK Exchange for once again sponsoring the Bitcoin market review. It is the 9th of December 2024. The time is just after 10 p.m. UTC. And as always, nothing in this video constitutes financial advice. It is just my view of the market, how I'm looking to trade the market, and just sharing tidbits of knowledge here and there. Okay, so we'll just, without further ado, we'll kick off on today's stream. Let's jump straight into it. What do we think? 1.58 billion worth of liquidations in the last 24 hours. Of which the large majority were longs, okay? Crazy people longing into resistance. Ethereum traded from 2200s into 4000. Same with Bitcoin at the range highs, people opening large longs. Same on altcoins. So I feel as though we were overdue a corrective move at some point. It's what I alluded to on the timeline yesterday when I posted my ETH chart. I saw Ethereum trading the range highs literally to the swing of the range high, and that for me was good enough to take profit. Okay, and I was looking for that correction, whether that meant another move higher before we see a pullback, and here we have it. We've had $1.5 billion worth of liquidations. Obviously, liquidation data is never accurate as far as I'm concerned, but from the information that we do have available at our disposal, we can assume that there's a fairly good deleveraging event that occurred today. Okay, so you can see in the last hour alone, 59 million longs got liquidated. Last 12 hours, over $1 billion. Last 4 hours, okay, this is where the bulk of the move happens. That $1 billion liquidation mark. Now that we've discussed that, got that out of the way, I know there's going to be some questions about, hey, XO, what's happening with the group? Just hold fire. I've been trying to sort out a couple of technical issues with the team. Now, just a heads up, what's the plans for the next few weeks? I shall be streaming after today. I think I've got another stream maybe later this week on Friday. And then the last one for the month will be next Monday, Tuesday, and that's it. I'm calling it a day on streaming for this side of the year, and then you'll probably catch me back on the stream, I guess, on probably Sunday the 5th or sometime before that. Okay, so just 2 more streams after this, and then I'll be taking a kind of a break from streaming, let's just say. Right, looking at the high time frame chart, nothing surprises me with Bitcoin. I've talked about the fact that, you know, expect plenty of chop and consolidation. Expect plenty of range bound price action. Not convinced, obviously, more so today than ever before that we're ready for a breakout, and we'll dive into that. But what is key for me is, and if you recall from last week's stream when we had several weeks of price action trading higher, we had assumed, let me zoom into the chart. Can you guys see my screen okay? I just want to make sure everything is working fine. I've had to move a few things around today, so kind of lost my settings, but EXO sounds no, I'm not nervous. I've just fairly, I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning, to be honest with you, as I am most days, so wouldn't say I sound nervous. Should I be nervous? If I am nervous, why would I be nervous? Okay, so we had this as a previous high. 1, 2, 3 weeks of correction, 4th week pushing up, 5th week breakout. But if you look at the candle bodies and look at the wicks on the either side of price, okay, I'm still leaning towards this kind of probable scenario that we may see one push higher at some point later in January or December. I'm not sure just yet. So again, looking at our price here, we are still respecting the 96, 95k level. It's holding okay as far as I'm concerned. Can we see a deeper pullback? Yes, we absolutely can. Now, just a couple of points. I'm going to keep this as a very short stream because I'm absolutely fucked today. I'm shattered. But looking at the daily stock RSI, yeah, not using these colors. Just 1 second. So looking at the daily stock RSI, sorry, that's the weekly. Looking at the daily, we had somewhat bottomed, as I'd hoped, round about on the 7th of December. And if you recall, I did say it generally takes about a good 10 days. If you look at historical context, at the previous times the daily stock RSI has bottomed. This was between the 1st and 2nd of October, started oscillating higher around about the 12th, 13th. Same again in September. So you always get that one period in a month where the daily stock in a decent market environment generally bottoms out for a period of 10 days. Are we getting something here similar, or is this going to be slightly prolonged, okay, before we start seeing price oscillate back to the highs? That's kind of the scenario that I'm looking for. So for me, until that happens, and again, looking at price here, I'm still in the belief that this is somewhat range-bound-ish price action. I still can't decide whether this is going to be trend continuation compression into expansion, or whether we get a deeper pullback into that 85k level. If you saw the fractal that I posted on Saturday, I think it was Saturday or Friday, that should give you an idea of what I'm keeping in the back of my mind. Let's just put it that way. Was there anybody here who didn't see the fractal that I posted on the timeline on Friday? But if you haven't, let me know, and we can cover that scenario very quickly. It was essentially something similar to this here, where perhaps let's just go into a different time, different chart, I should say, Coinbase. In the context of price, looking at this, okay, we had this grind up, expansion higher, price trading within this range. Okay, we had one push above the level. Let me do that again. Slows me down when I lose all my settings, but here we are. Okay, so this was a previous range high. This was my significant lows over here. What did price do in that range? It traded both sides of the range before we saw continuation higher. And this was a trending market back into a range. This traded in this period for the best part of December, printed the lows into January 6 weeks later before continuation higher. And as you can see, very similar, we had price trade above the highs, consolidated, flushed all the way down. Pushed back to the highs, flushed all the way back down, traded the lows before it continued higher. Are we going to see something similar to that? The key answer to that question all depends upon the mid-range here. Okay, if price can respect the mid-range, considering where we are, and we see price respect the trend line, then I would lean to the possibility or the probability that, look, over the coming weeks, we're probably going to see compression into some form of expansion. If, however, we lose the trend line, we consolidate below the trend line as a form of resistance, then we break down below the mid, then I think the probability is that we would take out the range lows very similarly as to what we've seen here. Now note that the liquidations at this point were very, very high. Now today, if you look at what we've had in the market, we've had an extreme, fairly large amount of liquidations. Could there be more? Yes, potentially. Could this drift lower down before finding support? Absolutely. But again, when you look at the price structure similarities, price range bound, breaks into a trend, drifts higher, forms a range high. Okay, and then you've got the range lows equally down around about 85, 86K. So the question I'm asking is, all right, look, you know, this isn't surprising to me that we've seen choppy price action after a significant rally over the last several weeks since the 5th of November, 6th of November. So the question is this going to respect the trend line, or is this going to continue breaking down, slowly bleeding lower, consolidation, and then another move down, taking out these lows here? I don't know is the honest answer. But I'm hopeful and optimistic that if you look at the buybacks for now, okay, look at this, look at this, look at this wick here. We've filled in a lot of this inefficiency today with today's liquidations. We've just had a large number of liquidations. So is there any fuel left for this to really break below the mid-level? I'm not too sure, okay? But one thing I am leaning towards is the fact that maybe over the coming day or two, that we will see price gradually drift lower into some sort of base-like structure. That's what I want to see at the very minimum. Okay, just to do that again, I want to see some form of structure coming into the mid-level. In fact, I have a chart elsewhere. So here's a chart I've already got ready. Okay, so you can see we're trading at the monthly open level. I think if we start getting acceptance below the monthly open level, then the big question for me is, okay, I don't mind that. It's within a range at the end of the day, or a candidate of being in a range. It's not confirmed because we are still making higher highs and higher lows, okay, in terms of price closes. So the question is, if we do trade lower down, and don't forget there's FOMC on Wednesday, so I think for whatever reason there'll be a level of hedging, people covering in terms of taking shorts. Okay, so don't be surprised if those positions get unwound after Wednesday, post FOMC. I think it's highly likely that we will see another 25 basis points 25 basis point rate cut. And at that point, the question is, will markets catch a bid? Okay, so for me, just seeing this consolidation down here into something like this, I would certainly take a stab at longing this, okay, with a clear invalidation below here. Okay, there's a previous demand zone. Price has retested it once, retested it twice. I don't really want to see it come below this point here. Sorry, this point here where the bottom of this yellow box is, because if it does, then I think structurally, unless it's a fast reclaim back above the mid-level, then I think there's a decent chance I may get to long price from down here. And if that is the case, if we do trade the range lows, I don't think we just break down and that's it. I think we will certainly spend a significant amount of time trading this range back and forth over the next several weeks, which is ideal for altcoins, okay? You want to see Bitcoin find a level of support. Alts start catching a bid again. Ethereum catches a bid, whilst Bitcoin finds or establishes a level of support. Bitcoin volatility is fairly reduced. You've seen today as an example as to what happens when Bitcoin starts breaking down on this slow bleed. Alts get impacted. Alts eventually, because of the high open interest, I think it was something like $7 billion on open interest on altcoins. So, you know, people chasing the highs. The time to position was several months ago, several weeks ago, 5th of November. Even before that, I've not been trading any altcoins on leverage. I've been positioned in spot. And today was another reason, perhaps, why, you know, if you're looking to swing trade and spot trade and play those positions for 2-3 months, you really don't need to be touching leverage and holding a position for 2-3 months. If you're looking to take momentum-based trades that are probably going to last between 1 hour to 2-3 days, fine. That probably makes more sense in terms of switching to perps or futures. So that's kind of where my view is. I still think that inevitably Bitcoin will trade lower down into this level, then we'll see what happens. Any questions? And as far as what I'm doing, I'm not really doing a great deal right now. I'm just waiting for price to show. Well, in all honesty, I'm already hedged from 102s. Okay, so the hedge that I took from 99 over here, I cut that out before the move up. In fact, I was talking about it in stream when we saw price closing back above the monthly, and I said, clearly said on stream that I probably need to get out very, very soon because this looks like it's going to go higher. But getting out, I wouldn't consider a profit or a win. Just getting out more or less close to break even. Price traded the highs. I saw a reason to short. Okay. This for me, the reason why I shorted this last week, it was last week, simply because this move up was just basically shorts getting liquidated, shorts closing out, longs opening at this level. And what happened? They got flushed. Okay. So for now, I am still hedged from 102s against my entire spot holding on Bitcoin. And ideally, I'm looking for a reason to close out that hedge short. Okay. It's not a directional short. It's not an outright short. It just gives me cover from my purchases from down here at 53, 54, 55. I've got a spot average price of 54k from down here. So that position that I'm running is not a directional short. It's just a hedge against locking in those gains without having to sell my spot position. There's been some confusion that people assume that I've switched short or that I'm bearish, but I'll know the time. I'll see the signs when I need to be bearish, but it's just not here. Okay, this is just short-term price action. We're very choppy within a range. If it is a range, or if this is still trend continuation, it remains to be seen. Let me just have a quick look through the questions. Am I down on any of my spot positions? No, I've been buying spot off the lows. Look, I bought ENA at 22, 23 cents. I bought C at 23, 24 cents. I bought Vanry at the lows again. All the positions that I bought, guys, even the ones that I shared, like TIE, that was down at 12 cents. Anyone, if you remember, I covered Anyone, that was down at $1. So a lot of my positions are up significantly. You know, I bought Anyone down here at this $1 level. So yeah, it's breaking down. Not ideal, but at the end of the day, price has gone from 70, 80, 90 cents a dollar to $2.40. I have to expect some level of a 30, 40% correction. Any deeper, then, you know, maybe alarm bells start ringing. But looking at this, that's a 30% correction. If this is going to pull back, and assume that Bitcoin, right? If I assume that Bitcoin is likely to trade into these lows, then I think you will see a fairly deeper correction on altcoins. But if Bitcoin can show strength and hold this level here, ultimately that 90 to 92k level, and it can give me some form of a bottoming structure, along with the stock RSI resetting on the daily. And I'll talk about the RSI next as well, because that's something that I use in these instances. If I can see a structure like this, then it's game on, okay? If you look at the stock RSI on the 4-hour, it's at the bottom. If you look at the stock on the 12-hour, it's nearing its bottom. If you look at the daily, it's already oscillated at the lows. It may come back down one more time before pushing back higher. Price is still steadily holding this level or trend line for now, okay? So I'm not too concerned. If you look at the weekly, I talked about the weekly. Yes, it's killing over, but you can see the weekly, many instances where price has often traded the highs in a bull market. Price trades down, the RSI remains overbought. So whether we see a small drop and it pushes back up again, that's what leads me to believe that we could see a probable second leg, if there is going to be a second leg higher. Okay, but for now, for me, this is just shite positioning. People buying in at the highs, getting absolutely rinsed, not once but twice. So until they finally give up their positions and eventually shorts start piling in, then one side or another is going to have to give in. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see. So for now, nothing really exciting happening, and I don't think anything significant will happen in the next few days. Certainly not until post FOMC. I'm leaning towards potentially next week being an interesting week for Bitcoin and the market heading into Christmas week and into January. We'll see what we get. Right, let's move on to the RSI. Oh dear. Never wish to lose your settings before a stream. It's a pain in the arse. Really is. Right, okay. Let's start off on the weekly. Still has room to go higher, in my opinion. Rolling over slightly, but still, if you look at previous cycle tops, December 28th of December at the highs, and price still went higher. This was in March 2024, so nothing really I can gauge from there. The daily is the one that I'm interested in. I feel as though, looking at price here, and looking at the daily RSI, I want to see this come lower down into this 50 level and hold, okay? Price coming down into this mid-range and holding. If for whatever reason we get a deeper pullback, then expect the RSI to trade back, well, to oscillate back to its low, and where upon each instance, when that has happened, it's generally been a good buying opportunity. So you can see that here, you can see that over here as well. You always get a nice reaction when the RSI is at the lows, or alternatively in an uptrend when it pulls back into that 50 level, okay? The 50 level, and then price breaks higher. So just something I'm looking to time in terms of confluence. I'm just waiting for the RSI to push lower down, let Bitcoin consolidate, build a base, build a structure before we see some level of continuation higher. Okay. If you look on the 4 hour, nearing its lows, okay? So we're at 39s, could come down into 30s again. That's generally been a sweet spot in terms of the 4 hour, okay? So just something to watch out for. Maybe we want to see price again. I keep talking about price building a base-like structure before we see some form of reversal, maybe higher, okay? But it is going to be choppy. It certainly will be choppy. So I'm only looking to trade Bitcoin at the extremes or at the mid-ranges. That's it for me, nothing more. I'm not going to cover altcoins today, guys, because I just want to keep this a short stream. The main emphasis is Bitcoin, Ethereum. We'll look at total 2, total 3, and we'll move on. Right. Talking about heat maps. Look at this. Remember the levels that we covered last week? There were 2 levels that I marked out on stream. One was the 85k level, and the other one was the 90 to 92k level. Price trades into there, rallies higher, okay? Shorts puke, longs pile in, delta unwind, slam straight into those bids and bounce aggressively higher. So there's quite a large number of orders in the books. Obviously, they can get pulled at any one time, but what you really want to be seeing or observing is the volume increasing into those passive bids and price absorbing any aggressive sells. Late shorts piling in to a key level of demand. And when you see those shorts opening into demand, but they are unable to push price any lower down, it's only a matter of time before once they're offside, they puke their positions, you get that delta unwind, and then price reverts quickly back to the upside again, okay? That's what you want to be looking for. So again, looking at the books here, all the way down to 89, 90,000. You know, there's quite a fair amount of bids stacked there in terms of price, okay? So again, I'm just watching for this level. If it trades, and that's why I said I don't want to see price essentially trade below the mid-level, okay? If you recall what I said on the chart, let me just reverse everything that I've just done. Okay, this is what I'm alluding to. That same level that I've kept on my chart, that heat map level, I've clearly stated on stream that ideally I don't want to see price trade below this level. I don't mind price coming into this level, basing out, and then pushing away. But any lower than that, then I have to be open to the probability that we could see price trade at the range lows, which is an even better opportunity, as far as I'm concerned, to long Bitcoin. And at that point, I absolutely will close my shorts out, okay? And just continue riding my spot longs, looking for a bounce from that position. Evening all, and any latecomers. I just want to keep things very simple, very simplistic, you know, focusing on price action, emphasizing the key points that I look at, looking at the heat maps where it makes sense and why, looking at liquidations. Can price continue, you know, forcing its way down? And if we've had 1.5 billion worth of liquidations, then, you know, this has been bought up fairly quick. So it's really, really encouraging to see. And I would just like to get... FOMC is on Wednesday, isn't it? I can't recall of... I think it is on Wednesday, isn't it? Or is it next week? Let me check. Oh, it's the CPI data on Wednesday. So FOMC is I've been saying FOMC Wednesday, so that's going to be the week after, isn't it? Yeah, it's next Wednesday. It's on the 17th. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was thinking, why am I saying FOMC? It's CPI data. FOMC, I think, is on the 17th or 18th next week. So Wednesday is the CPI data. My bad. Apologies. Correction on stream. It's what happens when you've been awake for like silly hours, nearly 18 hours with no sleep. So here we are. Straight to bed after this one. Right, okay, so we're all good, yeah? Time to move on. ETH USDT. Again, into the level that I mapped out on the timeline. Doesn't surprise me. What I need to see here is price respect this key mid zone between these two regions, okay? This was a consolidation. Price rallied off the lows. Consolidation, continuation higher, into the range highs. That was the reason for me to take profit. Straight back into this key level of demand, okay? Ultimately, there's two levels that I'm looking for here. This is a significant level at 34s, okay? 34, 35 is one level. The other level that I want to see hold is just down here. And that is the level between 34 and 32. They're the two zones that I would like to see hold. It's either one of these where I feel like if Ethereum is likely to go higher, then it would have to be from one of these two zones, okay? The question is, how much time is it going to take to consolidate? Is it going to be here, or is it going to push one leg lower down and then continuation higher? They're the two scenarios that I'm looking for. If for whatever reason price trades below this mid-level and gets acceptance, retests the underside and rolls over, then we've got bigger problems. Much, much bigger problems, okay? Then I would be concerned. But for now, I think after what we've seen is a very extensive move from 2200 into 4000, this has not come as any surprise to me, okay? Late longs piling into resistance, they're going to get washed out. Highly leveraged traders looking to seek to trade price higher, they've got rinsed out of the market, okay? So now, what I'm looking for over the next 3-4 days is a corrective phase, a consolidation phase, a base-like structure before we see continuation higher. And again, if you look at the daily stock RSI, one thing I've said time and time again, that generally when we are in this macro range bound type of environment, I would feel much more comfortable longing Ethereum once this can oscillate to the downside. And again, I think this is going to take a good several days before we see price oscillate to the lows and then start pushing up higher. So how long is that going to take? I'm not too sure. How deep is the correction likely to be? Is it going to be 35s or is it going to be 32s? That's what you have to figure out. If price trades those levels, how are you looking to trade those levels? If you've understood everything I've taught you over the years, okay? If for whatever reason I decide to take a trigger, there's my trigger, there's my stop, and price can't seem to continue pushing higher and it's coming back into price, I will cut that trade because I'm looking to play the probability that, okay, point number one, I either get to long this level now and it goes higher, or I wait for price to trade in no man's land in this zone between this block or this demand zone and then start pushing higher again, basically running the previous stops. I'll jump back into price, jump back into the trade, looking for it to trade higher. Okay, that's the two triggers that I'm looking for. Is that clear? There we go. The core CPI on Wednesday, so I'd expect a level of unwinding to happen with this data, but the big one is next week with the FOMC. So hopefully, once that's out of the way, we can get a good reaction in the market after FOMC, which kind of lines up. I think if we are going to see a corrective phase for the next week or so, then maybe this is what we need to see in the market before we see prices continue trading higher. Okay. Final note on this chart is, okay, zooming out now, let's just take the 3-day view. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Look at this, okay? This is our previous range highs at 4,000 something. I'm still of the opinion that we will come and trade this high, or that's what my expectation is. Whether that happens, I only know as much as you guys, okay? I don't hold a crystal ball, but that's what I'm trading towards. That's what I'm playing towards. I'm not looking for any shorts on Ethereum. I'm purely looking for long opportunities. I'm looking to reposition back into my spot position. I sold 2/3 at 38, 39, and 4,000. So I'm looking to rebuild the spot position that I had, okay, after taking significant profits, if I see a reason to do so. So this is a significant high that I believe that we could see price trade over the coming weeks, okay? And then in terms of the immediate lows, it's this level here. Look how clean prices respect to this significant swing point. Not only was it a level of resistance, support, okay? Taking the mid of this level leaves you at where? Just over here, okay? Give or take. Now, what I normally do here is draw two zones sometimes. Kind of a zonal level. And if you look at where price has traded today, where has it traded? Straight into, if you just, into the mid of the zone that I've just marked out, but not only into the mid of that zone, also into what? Into the mid of, if I just remove the two blue lines, remember what we had? There's our range high, there's our range low, there's our mid level, there's our range quarter. Confluent with the higher time frame mid level. So this is an example, what I've shown you, of how I use a range within a bigger higher time frame range, okay? That's how I use a range within a range. And it adds a lot of confluence at that 35, 3400 level. One more point I'd like to show you is, let's look at Ethereum. Let's group this by 100. Look how thick the books are stacked. As long as the bids all get pulled and we see absorption at this 34, 3300 level, okay, look at where prices reacted from. There's a big stack of passive bids resting in the books there. 3600, 36, 3550, 35, 34, 3400. Okay, as the biggest node. Where's 3400 on the chart? Right there. Okay, that's the level that I want to see hold. And if you look at price here as well, we've only just traded this previous swing low here, taken it out and traded back above it. So if there is a retracement over the coming days, okay, this is a fairly reactive bounce, okay, possibly shorts closing, some profits, people buying, getting their bids filled. But if we see price trade into this zone here, and you see a bottoming structure, that's what I'd be looking for in terms of trend continuation. Now that could take a few days at least. It may take a week, several days, 8 days, 9 days. Okay, everything that I look at, again, is about trading in probabilities, trading with the mechanical oscillators, trading into key levels I want to trade. Okay, waiting for the right price structures so I can get into a trade. I'm not looking to knife catch this. I was never looking to knife catch this. For those of you who are asking me, Exeter, did you get in today? Did you leave bids in? No, I didn't. Okay, I'd much rather let price show me a structure that I want to trade versus throwing a bunch of limit bids in here and hoping that they get filled. It's not how I trade most of the time, okay? Unless I've got very, very high conviction that this is going to be the level to hit. I still feel as though there's plenty of time before, you know, we could see, I'm not saying we will see, we could see price drift down, lower down one more time before we see price trading higher. And again, when you look at Ethereum on the higher time frame, it shouldn't come as a surprise, okay? We've had an extensive move up. You want to see when price trades higher, okay? You want to see some level of correction like this and then continuation higher again, okay? This type of structure. In fact, Solana had it. If you look at the Solana chart, back in 2021, you get these deep corrections, continuation higher. Now, this is what I've had marked out on my Solana chart. I've not been talking about long in this. We finally got the pullback into this level. I think we see something very similar to this, okay? I'm looking for one more push higher on Solana. It may take a few days. If you look at how many days this took, from the highs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then we got expansion 14, okay? Consolidation, rotational, building a base. Then we saw the directional move higher. Where are we right now? We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Half of what this is here. So again, it shouldn't come as a surprise. And I'm just saying, just try to think of scenarios that if we are to consolidate here for another week, so what? It's fairly healthy. What you don't want to see is a very deep correction breaking back into this previous composite or this previous range. That's where I would start questioning the market. Like, okay, if we are in a trended market, what the fuck are we doing back inside of a range? Having spent the best part of 6 months trading within that range, only to break above and then get back inside. That's not very alt season like as far as I'm concerned, okay? So at the very deepest point, I don't mind if price comes back and trades into 190s, but ideally that 200 level is what I've tweeted about. I want to see price respect this 200 level. I don't want to see any significant closes and continuation below this level. That then gives me confidence that, right, we're building a base-like structure. We should see continuation higher. Again, look at the stock RSI. I bet it's oscillating to the lows. Yes, it is. That's on the 3-day. Look at the daily. Oscillated at the lows, bounced up. It's probably going to come back down again, and then we can get that push up higher, okay? So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Look at the RSI. Same again. This is on the daily. It's broken below the 50 level. So the question is, does this trade back at the lows? Even better. We've had a full reset on the daily RSI. And hopefully price is respecting this level here. That to me is a fairly shallow corrective like consolidation before we see the next leg higher, okay? Where my cause of concern is a break back inside of this range. Right, let's move on to ETH BTC. Looks fine to me, no problems. You can't expect price after bleeding for months and months and months, right? To just simply, in one candle, go back up. This looks to me corrective. This looks to be a highly probable bottom before we see a reversal-like structure and then continuation higher. Okay. That's what I'd want to see. So this looks fine to me. This looks okay. It may take a bit of time, but it's shaping up very nicely. Right, let's look at total. Doesn't look good, I understand, but you know, we've just broken out of the previous high, so if we do happen to get a retest, you know, if we are to go higher and if that means having a retest into this zone here, I'll take that any day. Just think of this as one big range. Price trades out of the range, gives a retest, and then continues higher. I'd happily take that. That could take a month or so. Okay, it could be January where alts really take off. So again, just something to bear in mind that a pullback into that $3 trillion level isn't doom. It's just a welcome pullback as long as it holds that structure and we see continuation higher. So try to envisage what those structures would look like. And secondly, if you look at this, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of upwards price action. And this is the first corrective week that we've had. Maybe we get one more push down next week. And that is the down candle before we see price going higher. So think of it as a spring. If it is going to go higher, then hopefully that's the pushback before we go higher, okay? But essentially you want to see the $3 trillion level hold. Will this be my last cycle? I'm not going nowhere. Fuck that. I'm always going to be trading. I didn't sacrifice 7-8 years of emotional trauma to get to where I am. So is this going to be my last cycle? No bollocks. Anybody who says that is chatting shit. They'll always come back. Once you're in this space, it's hard to get out unless, you know, for whatever reason you've had a bad run and you're mentally struggling. Then I understand why people would quit. But then you wouldn't spend 8 years or 9 years of your life trading, would you? Just to call it a day. So I'll always be trading. It just probably means that I'll be making more positional trades as opposed to trading actively. So more one of those like 3 to 5 trades a year, big trades. That's what I'd be looking for. I ain't fucking going nowhere. All this shit talk, man, I think it's just attention seeking. After this cycle, that's it, I'm going. No, you're not. You ain't going fucking nowhere. You're staying in the trenches with me, that's it. You're stuck for life. Alright, that's total. So let's look at total 2. So, total 2 just fell short of the highs. Just fell short of the highs here. Nice flush down into that demand, first significant demand zone there. Okay, would you agree this was the consolidation before we saw price continue higher? That's okay. That's fine. consolidation, and then hopefully we get continuation higher. Very similar to what we've had here. Look, if I probably lean towards this shit here. Look, if you get the replay tool out. All right, okay, fair enough. No replay on this symbol. But look, this is your up move. You had trend, pull back, consolidation, price rallies higher, pulls back into this level, spends the best part of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, continuation higher. Okay. So will we see something similar? I hope so. Total 3. Same again. It's just looking at the same chart. Demand zone, consolidation. If you look at the fib from the low to the high, there's your 0.5. There's nothing wrong with that. This is what you want to see hold, and then continuation higher. It takes time, guys. Not everything is going to go up in one line. Look at previous cycles. It's done it every time. You always get these 30-40% flushes in price, where price trends higher, you get a sharp pullback, several days, 8 days, 9, 10 days of consolidation, and then rips higher. Everybody's happy again. Okay, so it happened in 2017, and if you look at when it happened in 18th, 19th, Christmas week, before we took off into January, and that was the top, first week of January. Okay, so happened in 2017, happened again in 2021. Look at this, February. The price rallies to 490 billion, flushes down into 300 billion, consolidates for several days, continuation higher. Look at the continuation structures. That's why I keep drawing this structure. Look, price pushes up, gets flushed, consolidates, and then continuation higher. Remember that trend line pattern? Okay? Something similar to that. That's where you want to be looking for positioning back into price, as long as the structure on the left holds. And then we have others. God, I hate streaming. I hate streaming when I lose all my chart settings. Others, fairly brutal pullback, 450 billion. Down to 330 billion. Into this key SR. If I had to guess, I bet this is a range quarter. Let's just find out. Range lows, range highs. Mid range is round about there, give or take. Yep, there's a mid. Okay, that's a mid range, so I've just blocked it off. Then taking the mid to 0.5s, there's your mid range there. Okay, just into the 0.618. So give or take into this level here. Give or take. All right. So again, just looking for some form of support to be established over the coming days. You're looking for corrective consolidation patterns. This is not going to be a reverse back up in one day. It will take several days at the very least, okay? This is a significant corrective-like structure. You want to see something like this, and then continuation higher, hopefully. Below here, we'll revisit that scenario. If we start breaking below here, then we have a bigger problem on our hands, okay? I don't know when the top will be, Khalil. I don't know, but what you'll find is, look, it's not about timing the top. It's about scaling on the way out, being comfortable with profits and being comfortable with taking profits. You can't wait for these 20, 30, 40% flushes and then say to yourself, shit, why didn't I take profit? It's too late. You've got to have a plan on the way up. For me, it's not about nailing the top. For me, it's about de-risking on the way up. Just like I've done with Ethereum, right? I tweeted about this, that I've been trading Ethereum from... I bought Ethereum here, bought Ethereum here, bought Ethereum here. 2300s, 2250s, 23s was my average entry. I cashed out here. I cashed out most of it over the weekend. Then we got the flush. Okay. Now I'm playing from a position of strength. Like, okay, where can I now buy back into the market? I've got two choices. I can either buy back above the range highs because I'm looking to trade price towards the highs, or I can potentially buy this structure here if it holds, or if that fails, cut my position, buy this here. I get to trade price higher again. Okay. So I've already locked in the gains, most of the gains that I've caught from here. Selling here is not the end of the world for me. People will, oh, EXO, you're going to miss out on alt season because you've taken profit. Anybody who comes out with shit like that clearly doesn't understand trading, and it tells you a lot about who they are as a trader. They have no conception of managing, no idea of concept of managing risk, okay, and how to play the probabilities. And that's why you should understand, as a trader, there's always a way to get back on board of a trade. Don't worry about what people say. Oh, you've missed a trade. That's it. You're sidelined. Bullshit. There's nothing to stop you from being, preventing you from being sidelined. You can step into a trade whenever you want, right? Say I don't do anything. Worst case scenario, price pushes back above here. I can buy my Ethereum. I sold most of it here. I'm just buying back above here with the stop at the low. I'm looking to trade this. What have I missed? 1 to 2 to 3%? And I've avoided all this significant drawdown in P&L. You tell me, what's better? Just to hold shit and just hope it goes higher? Or to actually action and take profit, anticipating a corrective move, I don't know where or to when, and looking for a reversal to get back into the trade it higher. Same shit will happen on the way down as well. When it's time to short the market, I will absolutely short the market. 100%. I couldn't give a flying fuck what other people say, or the fact that, bears are hated. At the end of the day, my P&L won't hate me for looking to make trades that are gonna make sense. I mean, too many people are looking for the home run, but if you're looking for the home run, then put it into one alt, right? But your other alts, you should be taking profit on them at some point. But have that one alt that you believe can really can give you a home run, and if it comes all the way back to your entry price, then obviously that's shit trading, but at least you gave yourself a chance to hit a home run. But the reality is that there's no reason to be round tripping your entire stack, which unfortunately the reality is 80% of the people will do, maybe 85%, 90%. So that's just a harsh reality. It is the way it is. I did it in 2018. I learned my lesson, and I refuse to ever be in that situation ever again. And perhaps that's why I've become very, very relentless at shorting markets or recognizing turning points in the market, because I'm always thinking about downside risk. At which point is the trade going to come against me versus, oh, look, this could go even higher. I can make X amount of money more. So I'm always thinking about bottom line, where could there be an inflection point which gives me a reason to take profit? Not always looking at the market thinking, where is the market likely to turn so I can short it? I'm thinking, where is the market likely to turn in an uptrend where I can potentially take profit? Okay, that's the mindset that I have. The heat map, I mean, it's variable really, whatever makes sense. In terms of heat map variability, it's currently it was at 3.4 and the low at 1.8. It doesn't really matter, you can even just look at this. You can see where the books are stacked, and this is just one exchange. So really, you should be looking across multiple exchanges. There's various tools that let you do that out there. There are various tools that let you do that out there. I believe this is one of them. Okotoki, okay? You kind of get an overview of market depth across several exchanges. Asks, buys. Okay, so you can see on Bitcoin, you've got a fairly good level of demand at, 91s again. So around about 91s is where there's fairly decent. Oh shit, this is. I bet this is an old image. Ignore that. Sorry. But yeah, you can log into that and just play around with it yourself. You'll get the idea. What do we think, guys? Any questions? Are we happy with what we've covered today? Does it all make sense? How I'm looking to trade the market, what my thoughts are, what I'm looking for. Ultimately, I just want to see Bitcoin volatility reduced, and then we can trade altcoins again in the next week or two. Am I free to go? Can I go now? Now that I've shared my plans and my views of the market and why I believe this is a much needed correction, am I free to go? Am I a free man? No longer tied to the shackles of streaming? I'll cover that next week, Khalil. I'll cover that next week. Bitcoin dominance, that's a good point. We missed that one off, didn't we? Oh, look at that. Holy shit. Straight on the... Richard, what's a good Yorkshire word? Straight on the noggin. Straight on the nose. But yeah, look, underside retest. Send it lower down now. Send it lower down. Yep. Straight on the line there. Boom. Not bad. If FTX was around, that's what Sam, he probably would have created a market to trade this, I reckon, but it is what it is. Alright folks, that's it from me. So next week I will have more information on the group, which is going to go live on January the 5th. I've got another stream later this week, and then I've got one more after that, and then I'm calling it a day for December. But apart from that, I hope you've enjoyed today's session. Stay calm, stay focused, look for opportunities in the market. As long as market structure holds, corrective structures are necessary to see continuation higher. Other than that, I wish you all a fantastic remainder of the week, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next stream. Stay blessed. Take care. Good luck.